the best that I can. But if it's casual, I'll just be like, yeah, come on, man.
But do they ever just press you? Because I was at a wedding and I got really pressed. And I got pressed for like the third time. I said, okay, you want a story? Here's your story. Gather around. And when I was done, it was just everybody just sat their plate down and just kind of walked away.
Yeah.
Like, you want a story? You want to press me? I'll show you what happens when you press me. You know, because I think that people have an unrealistic view of what you do. I think they think it's, you know, more Hollywood and more dramatic and see what Hollywood does. Hollywood is very good at dramatizing things, but they don't capture the simple humanity of it. You know, like I keep going back to that because I did not know it was you that day where I watch you get out of the truck and look up at the sky, at the birds and the clouds, and just enjoy the day for a moment. You know, before you went about your task. And because I remember standing there talking like, I would not want to be stopped in traffic with a body in the back of the truck. I wouldn't. I don't even like being stopped at a light next to a hearse. To this day I don't like that because I always glance over to see if it's full or it's empty, and you know, and I'll never pass a hearse. Years ago, my dad said only a fool races a hearse, and that's stuck in my head. It's stuck in my head. Could you see yourself doing that, or is that just?
Yeah, you know, it's funny you mentioned funeral homes because they're everywhere, and you might not notice them in your everyday life. I certainly never did until I started working in this job, and now because we have such a close relationship with funeral directors, I'm like, oh, that's where that one is, or oh, that's where that was. I see a hearse and I'm looking at the side of it to see which funeral home it is, or if I know the person driving it. But yeah, I would absolutely be interested in a funeral director license, maybe in my retirement or something.
And in some places, the funeral directors are medical exam or coroners. In some
a lot of places, a lot of places they are
still do that.
Both. They share both roles, yeah.
And that'd be an interesting retirement plan, you know, for you.
Still a lot of heavy lifting sometimes. But.
Yeah. And well, you know, it's funny because being on the ambulance and dealing with stuff and helping with stuff when you guys move stuff like. The term dead weight just sounds like a phrase until you actually deal with it. And I don't know what happens, but people like triple. And it's just impossible to move. And you know, I've had twice where we've had people that were very large and moving them. And I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. And I know now they have assisted litters that raise the person and everything. And I think in some ways they're a bad idea because they're allowing us to hire smaller paramedics and EMTs that when the litter breaks, you're not going to be able to do anything because people aren't getting smaller. I mean, would you say that even from your point of view?
Yeah. It's kind of a joke I tell whenever I go out. Whenever I meet someone or a group of people, I'm always sizing them up to see if I could take him out of a house or something like that. You would be fine. He would be difficult. Your partner over there. He's got to be over 6 feet and looks like a solid guy, so that'd be difficult.
Oh, thanks.
Russell's been worried about his weight recently, and once again. Oh, Russell, the coroner says you'd be a problem, so stay on the lawn, please.
Well, what do I care? I'll be dead.
Well, imagine, you know, taking a body out of a house and the families in the next room are maybe watching. So on top of protecting yourself and using these certain techniques that you learn over the years, but you also want to show some dignity and respect, which may take a little more effort sometimes.
And
if y'all need a crane when I do finally kick the bucket, I won't be offended.
No, and nobody says, you know, nobody realizes the problem they're dealing with. And there have been so many times where on the ambulance we've let's say the coroners came and I was just so happy I didn't have to deal with moving them out of there because, you know, there was this running joke that, you know, why is it that there's some correlation between the bigger you are and the higher you run up in the house when you feel chest pains. Why would you run up?
Right.
You know, it's like, oh my God, chest pains. I better get on the roof, you know?
Yeah. Or lodge yourself between the toilet and the tub or something like that. And
you know, it's funny. People think that's a joke, but the toilet seems to call to people.
Yeah.
You know, it's we're doing it all wrong. There's something that says, oh my God, I'm having chest pains. I better get to the bathroom because that'll fix everything. And then you just get wedged in there and stuff gets broken. I've seen that a lot, and it's like,
I'm sure. Yeah.
Get chest pains, run out to the lawn, please. But thank you very much for all that you do, and check out the website of the Montgomery County Coroner. It's very interesting, and it gives you a behind the scenes look at the office, the jobs that people do. It's not as glamorous as Hollywood, but it's not as morbid as you think. It's just people doing a job that we all need, and if they weren't doing that job, we'd be stacking up in a bad way. So you know, hug the coroner or something. Thank you for coming,
Put that on
Alex.
a t-shirt. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Russell, hit the button.